More on where this is all going. I spoke earlier to Robert Malley, a former Middle East advisor in the Clinton White House. He now runs the Middle East and North Africa program for the International Crisis Group. Robert Malley, do the Western allies have a clear objective?
Well, there's the objective that's laid out in the Security Council resolution, which is to prevent Colonel Gaddafi from hurting his own people. That may sound specific, but it actually is quite vague when it comes to implementing it. And we're seeing that happen already now with some dissonance between what the West is doing and what Arab countries are complaining about. The issue, of course, is it's one thing to simply have a no-fly zone. That's pretty straightforward. It gets more complicated when, as the resolution says, the goal is to stop Colonel Gaddafi's forces from entering Benghazi in the east. I guess that you could do by stopping the heavy fighting, the tanks and others from getting to Benghazi. But what about if some of those forces are in Benghazi? What about if Colonel Gaddafi is doing things in other parts of the country? That's where it becomes complicated, and that's where this could become a slippery slope and could start generating unease in the Arab countries and in other places of the world where they had initially thought maybe they thought they were buying into something more limited, or maybe they simply hadn't thought through to its logical conclusion what had been adopted.
Given those potential complications that you've outlined, are the US and its allies going to be able to keep this as a limited military action?
I think that is the question. Again, at some point, it may start begging the question, can you achieve those objectives as long as Colonel Gaddafi is in power? Now, President Obama and others are making clear they want him to go. They've said that from the beginning. But at the same time, they're saying this mission is not intended to implement regime change. I'm not sure that you're going to be able to hold that distinction for much longer because, again, if you identify Colonel Gaddafi as the threat to the well-being and to the lives of his citizens, then there may be no other way, logically, to implement the decision so long as he's in power. I suspect what they're going to try to do, what Western powers and others are going to try to do, is create conditions under